What's up, guys? It's your boy Vito here. I just saw Rise of Skywalker, and this is my Rise of Skywalker. No spoilers review. Are you excited? I'm excited. I'm excited. That's a lie. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to make this. This is a nightmare. I've tried making this video multiple times, and I can't do it because this movie makes no goddamn sense. This movie is a nightmare mess of catastrophic proportions. Everyone involved in this is touched in the head, insane. Just this is a movie made by crazy people. How did this get made? How did this script get approved? All the comedy of errors that has gotten us from The Force Awakens to here. This is insane. It's Star Wars. I hate to say it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Give me the Star Wars franchise. I'll write you as many movies as you want. They'll all be fine. Because you know what? All the elements are there. Heroes, villains, magic powers, laser swords. Make something fun with it. Yeah, you can find some nice themes in there about family and destiny and whatever the hell else. How did you complicate it to this point? How did you create this garbage pile out of just these classic, beautiful elements? They're so simple and clean, and they all fit together perfectly. And I don't know how you did this. I am losing my mind. I saw this movie on Thursday. It's now Saturday. It took me 2 days to try and accept that this movie is real. Because there's no way. There's no way. I came out of the movie theater thinking that I was dreaming. Or that I was high or something. Or that, like a week from now, Disney's going to announce, thanks for participating in this grand social experiment where we release a fake version of the movie. We hope you all enjoyed our fun joke. The real Rise of Skywalker we will release in a month. Because this is insane. Okay? I woke up yesterday and I go, oh, I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker yet. I had a dream about DeviantArt fan fiction that I must have read. Because that's the level of screenwriting that is here. It feels like somebody took a 15-year-old kid's fan fiction with all of the worst possible ideas that you could have possibly, all the fan theories that were garbage. Like, there are fan theories that are okay. Most fan theories are, bad. Some are okay. And then some are just, asininely terrible. Like, you would never put them in a million years in any of these movies. And it feels like J.J. Abrams took all of those fan theories, the ones that were dreamed up by drooling moron children, and jammed them into his movie as hard and as disgustingly as he possibly could. This will be my first impressions review. I'm just going to try and get it all out there. I will avoid spoilers for those of you who haven't seen the movie yet. I don't want to spoil it. Let's all see the movie. If you can handle it without your mind snapping, bending inward on itself and exploding like mine is about to do. How does this happen? You have billions of dollars and access to any piece of talent in the world. You're Disney. You can get any fucking person you want to make and write these movies. Okay? No one is off limits to you. And instead you went and you assembled this cast of jesters, of court jesters, of clowns, just dancing clowns and psychopaths. All of them arguing and bickering with each other to create this mess. They don't fit together at all. I'm gonna try and start at the beginning of the movie. I'll see what I can remember, and we're just gonna go through chronologically through the movie as best as I can. Which, again, it's a fever dream. To me, it appears in my mind like an LSD painting of death. It's a laughing skeleton on fire in my mind is all I can see when I picture this movie. But we're going to try. Okay. Movie starts off. First 3 to 5 minutes. I was like, this is good. First 5 minutes, I'm like, hey, this might be a good movie. The first 5 minutes, minor spoiler. Not really, but it's Kylo Ren stuff. And let's be real, Adam Driver is a good actor. He looks good when he's doing cool stuff. He's doing lightsaber stuff. He's on some kind of mission. It all looks good. It has that J.J. Abrams visual style. Good sets, good lighting. dynamic looking shots. It was a great first 5 minutes, and it's very fast. Breakneck action speed, constant cuts, action, action, action. Characters, yelling at each other, whatever. It's very quick and fast, but it felt cool. I'm like, this is a cool way to start your movie. Very intense. Get the audience's hearts pumping so they're excited for what comes next. And then, I assume we'll gradually taper off and we'll have some slow character moments like in a sane and normal movie. Fucking no! The movie stays at that same pace the whole runtime. It never slows down for a second. It is a disorienting clusterfuck. You're just like, dude, can all the characters stop talking over each other? Can we visit a scene and stay there for more than a minute? Every piece of action fails to land in any meaningful way because there's no time to dwell on anything. Something explodes and you're like, oh my god, what is that? Oh shit, that thing exploded. Oh, he's stabbing that guy. Oh, what the? There's no time to think. As people have said, it's like they tried to jam 3 movies into one movie. Yeah. To me, it feels like they tried to jam an entire season-long miniseries into a movie. Because there's scenes that are in the movie maybe 2 minutes long. I'm like, dude, you need like a whole 30-minute episode of a TV show to cover what's going on right here. You can't do this in 2 minutes. This is insane. The plot is, I won't give away the whole plot, but as other people have also said, it feels like a video game. And some people are like, oh no, video games have good plots now. No. It feels like an old school RPG kind of video game. Like a bad RPG, a stupid fetch quest adventure where it's like, we have to go to this planet to find this artifact, which will unlock this door, which lets us get the magic coin. That sounds like a joke. There is legitimately a magic coin they have to there's like so many little RPG like items they have to find. It feels like somebody just played too many video games and sat down and was like, yeah, you can make that'll be a good movie. It's not. And this is a knock on, I'm going to say, who's responsible in my mind. And I don't know how much he's responsible. But I want to put the blame on a man named Chris Terrio. Now, for those of you who don't know, Chris Terrio is an Emmy award-winning screenwriter, which sounds good on paper. He won the Emmy for Argo, which I never saw. I don't know if it's good. But I'll tell you what else he wrote, which ain't good. Batman vs. Superman and Justice League. He wrote both of those scripts. And in a way, it almost makes perfect sense how confounded I am by this movie, because it's the similar sense I felt coming out of Batman vs. Superman, where I was like, how do you write that? How does anyone write that script? It's like, it doesn't make sense. It's confusing for the audience. There's too much going on, too much left unexplained or over-explained. Like, yes, this very much feels like a movie written by the guy who wrote Batman vs. Superman. Now, there are other scriptwriters attached to this movie. I don't know how much J.J. Abrams had to do with it, but I'm pretty sure his name's on the script. As well as Colin Trevorrow, who was supposed to direct this movie, but then I think Jurassic World made too much money. Colin Trevorrow, it's interesting. I want to know what his script looked like, because he's on record saying, I had nothing to do with this Palpatine shit. Like, my script had nothing to do with Palpatine. J.J. Abrams shows up, and he's like, yeah, I gotta do Palpatine. Why? I guess let's talk about Palpatine for a second. It's awful. It's awful that Palpatine's in this movie. When I first heard about it, I was like, yeah, okay, I don't know. I guess that could be fine. But when you see it in practice, when you see like what they're trying to do, it underscores the fundamental flaw of all of these movies. And as always, as we've always discussed, the fundamental flaw is this insane writing exercise that they engaged in, where they decided, rather than do what anyone else in this position would do, literally anyone else, no matter who it is, the dumbest school child in the most remedial classroom, okay, would sit down with his circle of paper, and he would say, well, I don't know, like in the first movie this happens, in the second movie this happens, and in the third movie it'll all wrap up this way. No one else would say, in the first movie, I'm going to introduce a bunch of different garbage. There's going to be Anakin's lightsaber's back, somehow. There's a girl who's got magic force powers. There's a guy named Snoke, Knights of Ren. Han Solo's kid is evil for no reason. All these ideas, and they'd be like, "Do you want another circle of paper so you can write the second and third movie?" And the stupid kid would say yes. J.J. Abrams is like, "No, I'm good. I only need one circle of paper, teacher, because I'll write the first film, and then the second film we'll get a completely different kid wearing a different color helmet to come in and scrawl his own ridiculous garbage, and then I'll look at his circle of paper and get mad about what he put in there and come back in and tear his up and make mine and pretend his didn't happen." It's insane. Coming back to Palpatine, when you find out these reveals and all the secret history, oh, Palpatine, I was behind it all, or whatever, none of it lands. None of it feels like anything because none of it was set up. Okay, if it was set up, then you could have put clues in the first two movies. So now you would be like, oh, that makes perfect sense because that's why this character said that in this movie, or that's why she had this vision. Instead, you're finding these retroactive justifications for the stuff that came before, and it doesn't work. It just feels so obviously tacked on. Like, okay, yeah, you guys came up with this at the last minute. You had no idea. Nothing in the other movies builds towards this at all. The big thing in this movie, and I think the thing we're all going to argue about, is there's a reveal about halfway through the movie. I don't know, halfway. I wasn't paying attention to the runtime. There's a big reveal. A big reveal, something that, was one of the big fan theories, and all the fans were arguing over this particular plot point, and I won't get into it, but it was settled. It was settled. We knew who Rey's character was at this point. In The Last Jedi, whatever you established in The Last Jedi, you gotta stick with it. Okay? We established things about these characters in The Last Jedi, and JJ, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. It already happened. You can't undo it. Just take the ball and run with it. Be a team player. I can't believe I'm defending Rian Johnson, and when I make my big review, I'm gonna go into this and say, it was actually one of the few things about The Last Jedi I liked. There's a thing about The Last Jedi that I was like, this is actually good and the correct thing to do here. Everything else about the movie, I think you screwed up, but this was absolutely the correct way to handle this. J.J. Abrams goes, no, what would be better is another one of these stupid fan theories that I pulled out of a garbage pail. And J.J. Abrams completely undoes probably one of the most important revelations of The Last Jedi. And when it happened in the theater, my whole body, it was crazy. I had a complete emotional reaction. I just shut down. The energy drained out of my body. Like, from that point on, I no longer felt like I was invested in the movie at all. I was like, okay, I'm watching fan fiction. I'm watching a stupid... This doesn't matter, basically, is how I felt. It's so hard to describe without giving away spoilers, but it was just like... Don't you see how the plot completely just doesn't mean anything when we learn these important pieces of information and we take 2 years to internalize it? We're like, okay, I saw Last Jedi, this is what I know, and this is what I'm expecting going into the next movie. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, that, we got rid of that. Well, then what the fuck am I watching? I'm no longer even watching it's not a trilogy anymore. It's 2 movies, and then in the middle, you have J.J. Abrams, and in the middle you have this movie that J.J. basically is telling you doesn't matter. It didn't exist. Like, watching it was a waste of your time because nothing from it has any implication or bearing on what comes next. It's so fucking weird that The Last Jedi he's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what happened in that movie, so let's just ignore it and pretend there's only The Force Awakens and this, my new movie. And you're like, JJ, like, that, you can't do that, motherfucker. It's so weird. It feels like I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was like, dude, I feel bad for Rian Johnson. How weird is that? I was like, Rian Johnson, look, I hate his stupid movie, but you can't erase it from existence. Like, it's so weird. What it feels like is that J.J. Abrams was having fun with his action figures, and he's making his stupid action figure playset movies and just smashing them into each other. And, he has his new Rey action figure, and she gets in his old Millennium Falcon, and he just made this fun toy movie. Rian Johnson shows up, and he's this weird creative kid, and he takes all of J.J. Abrams' toys, and he starts putting them in dresses and putting on weird stage plays with them. So he goes in the complete opposite direction. Like, both of these are not the right way to make a Star Wars movie. I don't want an action figure romp, and I also don't want your weird avant-garde, dress up your action figures like dolls and have them dance around. But now J.J. Abrams is so pissed off at what Ryan did with his action figures that he's now ripped them all back off the shelf, put them all in the family grill and thrown a firecracker in there, and just blown up everything. Just explode them all. They're all garbage. They're all disposable. Every plot point that you've tried to follow up until now, none of it matters in the wake of J.J. Abrams' need for a big, stupid spectacle. Again, the big problem with this movie, there's no time for anything to land, and I really look forward to talking about it. But, like, a character will make, like, a big decision. They'll be like, this is what's gonna happen. This is my path forward, I'm done with this, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 minutes later, like, completely change their mind and do something else. Because like, one character said one thing to them. Because there's no time for them to, like, sit down and reflect and think about anything. It's just like, it's gotta keep moving to get all this plot out. Leia's corpse is in here. We get to see, Carrie Fisher. All the scenes with Carrie Fisher are super weird. Because it's all just taking deleted footage of her and trying to, like, write dialogue around it. It'll be something like, oh, I hope everything's okay. And she's clearly referring to something else, and Rey is like, yes, I do think everything will be okay. I'm like, these people aren't having a conversation. These are clearly unrelated takes. And again, there's no time for anything. Leia dies, you get like a 1-minute funeral. You feel nothing. Carrie Fisher is dead. Okay? You should have like a 10, 20-minute thing where all the characters sit down and talk about the rebellion and how important she was to it and whatever else. But no, it's just like, we don't have time. Throw a sheet over the dead. Literally, they just throw a sheet over her. A couple characters are like, all right, Leia's dead. That sucks. Goodbye. And then they go fight in spaceships again. It's such a nightmare. Okay. Anyway, we go through the movie. This whole video game plot. It's so stupid. Again, I'm trying to avoid spoilers as best as I can, and I'm just thinking of all the stupid things that happen in this movie. Old characters are coming back, and you're like, you should have just ran for the hills, man. Why even let them? I hope they paid you good to be in here, old actor who... Oh, yeah, Lando's back, as we all know. Actually, Lando's probably the only fun part of the whole movie. It's fun to see Lando. Everything else sucks. And again, they're trying to wrap everything up. They're trying to give you all this stuff that we've complained about, where we're like, who is Snoke? Who are the Knights of Ren? Like, all these questions that were like, yeah, you should have, like, slowly answered those across the course of all the movies. J.J. Abrams is like, let's just answer it all in the last movie. And you're like, no, now is not the time. It's far too late for this, and it sucks. Like, telling us who Snoke is now sucks. It's out of nowhere. It's a terrible explanation, because they only have 2 seconds for it. Like, it's just, the Knights of Ren, it's just like, I don't know, just jam them in anywhere. I don't think they do anything in the movie. They're just there. Finn has a new girlfriend now, I think. I don't know if she's his girlfriend, because we just kicked Rose out of the movie. Again, Last Jedi doesn't exist. J.J. Abrams just erased Rose, basically. She's in, like, 3 shots. This is the end of the movie. The heroes have won. And there's a moment. There's a moment between 2 characters. And it's a moment where, again, the worst fan theories or wish fulfillment or fan fiction, the worst fan fiction you can find on the internet, it's like somebody took that and just added it into the movie. I don't want to spoil what it is, but I literally, in the theater, yelled out, what the f***? It is like the perfect definition of just like how disconnected J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio are from the people watching the movies. Because all of us watching the movies, like, okay, we've watched the movies, we've internalized what you've communicated to us about the characters. We don't have your extra information that you have in your head about secret adventures these characters went on or how they secretly feel about each other. We only have what you showed us in the movie. And based on what we've seen in the movie, we know how these characters should interact with each other. And J.J. Abrams is still acting according to whatever he wrote down in his legal pads 5 years ago, which none of which has been communicated to the audience at all. And he's just like, yeah, here's this scene. Isn't this scene great? Isn't this what you wanted to see happen here? And you're like, No, absolutely not. Why is this in here? I swear to God, I heard people laughing in my theater when this moment happened. And I'm a guy, I avoided all the spoilers, but I was reading about how they did different test screenings with like different endings or whatever, and that some people were laughing at some of the alternate endings. This, I think, was the ending they were laughing at. Like, this is something that should have been cut from the movie. It has no place here. It's clearly, to me, a reshoot. Like, it's clearly something that just feels tacked on and just added at the last moment. It's so bad. It, like, fundamentally, again, just underscores how disconnected these films are from reality. Like, do you know the movie you created, JJ? Like, did you actually watch The Force Awakens? Do you know what information we, the audience, have? Because now you're expecting us to make these, like, drastic leaps of character understanding without the development being there to make it work. Again, this is why this movie makes no sense to me, because it doesn't feel connected to the rest of the other two movies. This feels like a draft J.J. Abrams wrote 5 years ago, and when they said, "Do you want to direct the new one?" he just went with it. He didn't, like, check the other movies at all to make sure that the ideas still made sense. It's crazy. The movie ends, whatever. Star Wars is dead. It's dead. Again, J.J. Abrams took all the action figures, put them in with some metal cylinder, threw a firecracker in there and blew them all up. They're all dead. The old characters, the new characters, it's all garbage. Everything is ruined forever. What am I gonna do now? Watch The Mandalorian? The only way I can watch The Mandalorian is I have to, like, actively work to block these other movies out. I have to, like, be watching The Mandalorian, and then I'll start thinking about Casino Planets or something else, and I'm like, nah, God, that's the same universe as this. How can I take any of this shit seriously when it takes place in the same universe as Rise of Skywalker, where I've just seen some of the schlockiest, the last fight, I'll say this, Rey becomes an X-Men. She joins the X-Men. That's all I'll say. It is a scene out of, like, Dragon Ball Z. It looks so stupid. It looks so classless. It's awful. I don't know, man. It was never going to be good. And I get, at least it's spectacularly bad, so we have something to talk about. I was honestly expecting a movie where I would go, well, you know, based on The Last Jedi, there wasn't a lot they can do. And I was honestly expecting it would be like, I feel like J.J. Abrams did the best he could with what he was handed. I refuse to make that statement. J.J. Abrams is a monster. It is possible this movie is worse than The Last Jedi. I say possibly. I haven't made up my mind. They're both terrible in polar opposite ways. Because J.J. Abrams' whole thing is, don't challenge the audience at all. Just spoon feed them schlock because your audience is idiots. You can just take A New Hope and remake it and give them all the same characters, all the same plot threads. Just all they want to see is a Millennium Falcon and Han Solo and a Chewbacca. Your audience is idiots. Don't challenge them at all. That's the J.J. Abrams extreme of storytelling. Then you have the Rian Johnson extreme, which is go the complete opposite way, which is take your audience and what they're expecting and what they want, and don't give them any of it. There are no heroes. There are no villains. Everything shades of gray. Every character they love, show that character in the dirt, being kicked in the face over and over. Show, this new age radical storytelling where nobody gets what they want. There's J.J. Abrams, you get everything you think you want, which you don't actually want. And then there's Rian Johnson, where you don't get anything you want. They're the complete opposites. And they needed to meet in the middle. You needed to meet in the middle and have some of the familiar, some of what you love, some of what you already know you like. Your old characters are treated with respect and love. And then you needed a little bit of, but we can't just remake the same movie and the same plot threads we've seen a million times. Let's try something a little new. Let's challenge our audience a little bit. There is a rational middle ground. But they found two directors who represent... I'm trying to get both my fingers centered on the screen. they chose two directors who represent the polar extremes, and they had them make a trilogy together. How f***ing insane is that? Like, why would you pick those two guys? In retrospect, this is like, how do you do this? This will go down in history as one of the greatest movie-making blunders of all time. Anyway, should you go see The Rise of Skywalker? I'll say this. If you are a true Star Wars fan, and you don't want to watch this thing die, maybe don't go. Maybe you can be that guy. Maybe you'll be an old man and you go, you know what? I just love Star Wars so much. I didn't want to watch it die. I've still never seen Rise of Skywalker. I would have respect for that guy. For the guy who said, I just want to hold these characters in my heart. I don't want to watch them explode in J.J. Abrams' firecracker explosion. If you're like me, though, and you like the idea of just seeing what is possible when you take $1 billion and complete lack of planning, and just how big a disaster can you possibly create? Yeah, go see it for that glorious spectacle. The spectacle on the screen, the millions of Star Destroyers and all the lasers and all the explosions, is nothing compared to the glorious destruction that is the Disney take on the Star Wars franchise. That is the spectacle from which I cannot look away. Okay? Just an endless series of school buses containing screaming children slamming into the same wall for eternity. That is what the Disney take on Star Wars has been with this new trilogy. Just a nightmare horror show of screaming and flames and death. I can't look away. I wish I could, but I can't. So if that's what you want to see, you're going to love this movie. I tell you what. I will have a full review at some point. Please like and subscribe, guys. Subscribe down below. Then when I put up my big review, you'll all be able to enjoy that, because there's so much to talk about. I can't wait for y'all to see it so we can actually talk about this stuff. I don't want to spoil it. So go see the movie. Come on back. We're going to be talking about this one for forever. How we're going to be talking about this debacle as the greatest Hollywood, again, disaster in history. No, never before has anyone spent so much money to produce something so shockingly bad. I can't process it. My brain is broken. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna go kill myself.